Hello friends and welcome for episode 1 of a brand new little micro series that I wanted to start on an upcoming game called Cavern Kings. This is the beta version. It's a publicly available free build that you can grab for this new action platform shooter type game. It kind of runs in between a number of different genres. Best way that I could liken it to would be something like maybe Super Crate Box meets Risk of Rain. And I definitely recommend, if you're at all interested in hearing the full breakdown and my thoughts and opinions on this, go watch the Indie Impressions video that I did. I managed to talk for about 20 minutes on quite how much I like this one and why I think this is a fantastic game. And I figured after doing that video, I kind of wanted to just do some runs of the game and see how it goes. So I reset my save file, and we're just going to start from the beginning and see if I can have any particularly overpowered and fantastic runs. So I don't actually have some of the unlocks that I'd had in that other video if you happen to watch it, but that's okay. So we're going to be this little guy, and I'll go over some of the basics just very briefly, but I'm not going to probably spend very much time tutorializing. I think if you really want all of that stuff, go ahead and watch the Indie Impressions video, because I get into a lot more detail there. So we've gotten the Kinetic Fist, and that is on our right click. That allows us to punch super hard, and it also gives us kind of an extra jump. So as you can tell, we've got a single jump, a double jump, and then if we use that in tandem, we can actually go 1, 2, and 3, and it's actually quite useful for getting around the play field here. So we basically just need to dig down here into the ground, and then we're going to start the actual action. I'm going to get some sort of a distance item, and then I will begin to employ what I hope to be some successful strategies here. So we got a harpoon rifle, which is handy for land whales, of course. So harpoon gun basically sort of functions like a railgun. We're going to be using this to snipe things from far away, and basically my strategy is going to come down to early game, since we're timed. Well, we're always timed, but there's going to be a big old drill that's going to come down from the ceiling. So I want to get in and get as much money as humanly possible to start off our run, because the biggest way to get ahead is we want to have enough money to purchase all of the treasure chests that we're going to run into as long as we're, heading downward. And I also want to terminate as many of these worms and enemies as I can too, just to earn some extra money. And of course, watch out for spike traps that are hidden in the floor. And let's take a quick cursory glance around. Don't see much going on here in the way of crates or anything particularly special or wonderful, so I'm just going to bust open that TNT, and we'll just kind of skip that floor. So the further you get down, the harder the enemies, and hopefully the bigger potential for earning more money. So, things will hopefully spiral completely out of control in our favor if we're doing it correctly, and if we're not doing it correctly, things will tend to spiral completely out of our favor. And we need 500 gems or money or whatever you want to call it to open up that treasure chest. Probably should really stop walking on those spikes, huh? You'd think I would catch that they're symmetrically placed also, but no. So I just want to earn a little bit more money, if at all possible, before we proceed on. I really would love to get this one treasure chest open, but it's looking like that's not likely to happen. So let's not belabor the point. It could turn out that this is just not going to be a very good run based on the grouping of things that I've ended up getting. And that's okay. If we have a bunch of bad runs, no problem. When we finally get one really satisfying perfect run, it's going to be 100% worth it. So, as you can probably tell, I'm very enthusiastic about this game. I love Super Crate Box, and I kind of loved Risk of Rain. Well, I love the concept of Risk of Rain, but I felt that there were some things about it that were very cool, but not exactly perfect, and I feel like a lot of those issues are quelled or addressed in this particular game, and I'm just super excited to see what this is going to be when it's finally done, because there's going to be a number of bosses. Oh, geez, we've got... Oh, I had enough money to buy the chest, and then my hubris got the better of me and freaking jumped right on the spikes. So I ended up with basically nothing on that, got to level 4, and that's kind of GG on that one. So we've got a much better grouping of stuff here. We've got some gems to start us off, which will give us a little money, and we've got a fantastic melee weapon, which is going to be this shovel, which seems to be one of the better ones that I've run into. And we've also got a saw driver, which is actually not bad either. If we pair it up with certain power-ups, I think this can actually be quite formidable. Not my favorite per se, but also not bad at all either. So I'm going to try and make my way up into this area where I can pick up this crate and hopefully not get too beaten up on my way over there. If we could get rid of all of you, that would be fantastic. So it came to my attention, and I rarely get behind Kickstarters before I'd really given the game like a ton of time, but this is one game where I realized there's a Kickstarter for it, and I'm kind of into it, and I might even back it, because I really, really like this concept, and I think that I'm going to probably get like dozens of hours of gameplay out of this. I really want to get this chest, though. What do I have here? This is a cluster of iron, adds weights to my bullets. I'm not sure how useful that is. Let's see, it seems to make my saws maybe not go as far. I could see where that would be useful with, like, the machine gun, or the nail gun, rather. But for these particular projectiles, I'm not sure how super helpful that is. The crates also tend to have health power-ups in them, which is really handy as well. I'm sure you can imagine, you know, having enough health to survive, kind of important when your main goal is to survive. Redundancy police here. We've got another add weight to your bullets, so you can actually stack active effects that are going, and some of them seem to make a lot more sense to stack than others. I'm not entirely sure I understand what adding weights to the bullets would really do in this particular context, like I said, so it might just not be super relevant for this build, but that's okay. Oh, geez, what do I do with that? So the TNT... Okay, that didn't go very well. Now I know that that can be a thing. So I've gotten an item to boost accuracy, and I want to keep in mind now, if this ever happens again, and I see a way to get a crate and a TNT block, like, on the same tile, probably don't do that. Oh, I've unlocked Burst Fire. I don't know if that's good or bad, or what that's really going to do to help me. It seems like I'm still firing things about the same, and I'm really just about to die right now. If I could get a little bit more money, there's a chest in my future, but it looks like maybe actually not in my future. So I figured for each one of these episodes, I'd just do a handful of runs, see if we can beat one of our last previous bests or something like that, and just try and make our way forward. There's also one boss that we can run into, and my goal will be to also, you know, try and overcome that boss and just see if I can get some of the trophies. There's a number of, like, achievement-y kind of things that can happen in this too, and in my general play, before I'd actually committed this to recording, I did actually have a bunch of trophies. I think I had like 3 or 4 of them. Now, what can I do with this chest? Can I... I've been curious about this, because I've seen this happen in prior runs. It seemed to me like if you knock a chest off of the play field... Oh, geez, maybe I'm not going to have the luxury. Never mind. I thought that it maybe gave you experience for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure even what experience does to this point. I'm going to hope that it probably raises, like, your HP level or something like that, or maybe makes you fire faster or do more damage or something. But I don't have any kind of concrete answers for those things quite yet. This is an interesting build for this level. By the way, the levels are all procedurally done, so it seems like you'll get a vast number of different builds. Some of them can be quite detrimental and frustrating, others surprisingly easy and helpful. This is one of those cases where I'm kind of happy about how this went, because it means that these guys are all going to get grouped together in a handy way for me, and then I can just kind of shovel them all to death and collect all the spoils. And I might even have enough to make it to this chest, although I'm being a bit greedy in going for it. What did I get? Oh, I got the flight wings thing. Oh god, get out of there. I actually missed what it was called, but it lets me triple jump, I believe, is essentially the main focus here. Man, I gotta really watch out for those spikes, because they do a crap ton of damage, and if I don't find some way of recouping all of that very quickly, it's really not gonna go well for me. Prospects of a long-term run look very dire once I start to step on a couple of spikes. Or once I start to get, you know, damage accruing from all of these floaty worm guys. Because these guys, there's no, like, invincibility frames, so when you get stuck in a position where a bunch of them are going to hit you, you're just kind of going to sap up all of that damage, and it's really not that good. Can I... Oh, I am dead already. That actually went by really fast. Alright, so I got one single power-up. Not a good run. But I did unlock this trophy for whatever reason, so good for me, I suppose. I don't know if that's just for dying a certain amount of times or for killing enough enemies or what. But now I have a trophy. And I also have this fantastic pairing of weapons. This is actually the pairing that I had for the very first run I did in the game. It's the nail gun and the jackhammer. And this is actually pretty useful. This one does a lot of damage, fast-paced. And these two actually kind of complement each other. So they're both very quick weapons. They tend to do a lot of damage and kind of focused. So provided you get a number of power-ups that let you keep sort of stacking on the damage, and I'm going to hope for the best here, I should have an okay chance as long as I don't throw this run away. Also, I kind of like the crosshair that it gives you for this particular weapon, this horseshoe-shaped thing. It's a super tangential and not very important thing to worry about, but I don't know. I just feel like it works better for me. Also, I feel like this jackhammer is pretty useful in terms of focusing damage on when I want to break through the ground very quickly. There's some that seem to be more or less useful in that capacity, as far as, like, melee weapons. And this one feels very dependable on, like, in a pinch. If I need to very quickly just, you know, kill a bunch of tiles, I can just do that. I don't really have to think very hard about it. The shovel also particularly useful in that respect, too. Now I have 524. Let's see if we can get up to this chest. Oh god, no, that's not gonna happen. GG. Thank you, drill. Never mind. Alright, let's get over here then. We will try and head over to the left. Barely cleared that jump. And, you know, I probably don't need to gush too much in case maybe you don't get the right idea here, but I have a lot of love for this game, not only just because of the gameplay style too, but like the art aesthetic, the music, the premise, the whole way it's executed. Like the whole thing just feels like it's nearly infinitely playable, and it's pretty to look at, and it's fluid, and it's vivid, and the whole thing just seems just generally really fun. So, I don't know, it probably doesn't need to be said too many more times, but I'm super behind this concept, and I really, really hope that we can live in a world where this gets backed and is successful and releases and is, you know, successful for the developer, and everything good happens from there on. So there we go. Here's a ton of gold or money. And what do I have to buy? Well, there is a chest over on the left. Let's see if we can head over there. The strategy, not super complex in the early stages of gameplay. Okay, we've got the flying bracer, and now we can fly like the wind. But later on, we'll run into some more difficult rooms where we may have to, you know, open some locked doors by finding keys off of enemies, actually picking those keys up and repositioning them. And that's a bit of a challenge. And I'm kind of curious to know what's going to happen if gameplay continues down that route later on. Will there be more challenging things like that, or is it going to stay pretty strictly in the general premise of just like defeat floor, go on down? So that was a missile expansion. This means every time I right-click to use my melee attack, it's actually going to fire a projectile. So I can actually be stacking damage now between my right and left click. And basically I just want to be spamming both of them at the same time to do the most damage. You'll also notice some really nice details too, and I know I'm kind of just treading on the same ground that I did with the indie impressions, but the fact that the nails actually stick in the ground and in the enemies I think is like a really nice touch. Kind of want to pop that TNT, but I'm like having trouble getting the angle properly, so oh, just forget about it. See if we can make it up to this crate here. What do we have? Pile more money and another health power-up. Fantastic. Almost have enough for another crate, but there's actually a couple of lock boxes over here, which are my favorite thing to run into, because these are sort of like level 2 chests. They're easy to open, they don't cost anything, or crates rather, I should say, and they usually are equipped with some sort of a special item as well, which makes it even more lucrative and valuable to open them. And I have more than enough. I have over 2,000 gold right now, and I'm going to get into this chest. Okay, so it's another stackable flying bracer. Let's just leave this godforsaken planet. Oh god, not that way though. I don't want to die yet. And see if we can bust into this chest. Uh-oh, get out of there. Another missile. Okay, let's see what happens when I stack those. I'm assuming that the little spark behind them means they're probably doing more damage now. And now that I've gotten some fire behind me for them to walk through, I am probably going to enter the territory of enemies starting to off themselves, which is really the best case scenario. When you start getting in a position where there's so many dudes on the screen, you can't really keep track of them all. Highly recommend playing this in full screen, by the way, if you haven't tried that, because you'll probably be much more successful that way. Why don't we do one more run here? Grab the kinetic fist. Again, probably my least favorite of the melee items, but I'm holding out hope. I mean, I guess the fact that it gives you a triple jump is a pretty useful item, but at the same time, it's very difficult to use successfully. In my opinion anyway. I feel like a lot of the time I just end up causing myself damage, but it also might be because I haven't spent a ton of time with the game yet and I haven't gotten myself completely familiarized. I do trust that the developer has actually spent a lot of time balancing these items. I can tell. This is just my least favorite personally, but it doesn't mean that I think it's objectively bad or anything. I'm just going to kind of opt out of that floor because there wasn't anything crate-wise. So, I mean, I could spend a while trying to farm for gold here, but probably not going to do a huge amount to help me out. Oh my god, I've got a ton of money. Alright, so we've got a flying bracer already. So now we have potentially like up to 4 jumps, which is neat. And we're just going to bow out of that floor as well now that we've gotten what I could. I had a pretty low chance of thinking I was... Why can't I melee right now? I can't seem to use my fist anymore for some reason. Maybe it's a bug or something. That's going to be a problem. Can we sort that? Oh, it came back. There it is. Okay. There's a strange cooldown or something. Not really sure what happened there. Anyway, wow, those worms kind of OP when I don't have a more powerful shot. Alright, level up. Let's punch through the floor, and what do I have? Oh, ton of crates. I like the look of this floor. Okay, we've got a heart. Regenerates health over time. That's fantastic. Actually forgot to call that one out last time I saw it. Oh my god, that shoots so far. I didn't realize how far this melee damage worked. And let's try and grab some kind of health ups here. Really hope that I can get to all of them. Oh, geez. Okay, don't get killed by the saw blades. That's going to be a real sad time. And, oh, I did get killed by the saw. I really should have just gone for the base of those chains and just wrecked them before I got in trouble. Alright, so those were mostly all pretty unsuccessful runs, unfortunately. But I have a feeling we could get right back into things and just continue on, and hopefully we'll get one of those really solid runs that just looks fantastic and feels fantastic to play. So stick around. I'll be doing a few more episodes of this. I don't know if it's going to be a super long-running Let's Play or anything, but I want to at least do, you know, 5 to 10. And then, of course, I'll track the game if any new releases or updates or anything happen, because I'm very, very eager to see more content in this, even though I haven't by far even come close to using up all the content that's here right now. There's, I think, about total 20 power-ups, and a total of 20 power-ups. I think I've only seen about 10 or so, and I have beaten the boss, I will say, but like I said, I reset my save data, so we're going to do that again for the first time in a little bit, hopefully, and it does require sort of an OP run, but not necessarily as crazy as I was expecting, because when I beat him, I think I had like 5 or 6 power-ups. And I also don't really know when you have the boss show up. It just seemed sort of random, I guess. But, you know, we'll figure all that out in due time. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to let me know. I definitely appreciate any kind of likes or hype that you guys want to generate on the first episode of any new series. And I would like to sort of make my YouTube channel be a little bit more of a present and accounted for thing. I mean, I've been sort of putting a lot of VODs and things from the Twitch channel. I would like there to be a little bit more exclusive content strictly for the YouTube channel, and I think this is a series that I can totally get behind because it's super easy to pick up and play. Anyone can play it, and I will have links for both the download for this game and for the Kickstarter campaign. And if you enjoy what you've played here, I would say, I would go so far as to say consider actually backing this one, because the goal is super low. And I think it's entirely attainable. There's like a month, and I think the developer only needs like about $1,000 more. And I'm kind of considering going for like the get your own power-up tier, but I mean, I can't really afford it, but I kind of want to anyway because I really like this game. So we'll see what happens. I just want to put that out here. I don't want to not see this game go forward and be successful. That's all. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I will catch you for the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.